I started doing graphic design. Like I'm a creative myself. Like people don't realize that managers and like good managers and good industry execs are also creatives. I've also been playing music for like my entire life. Like that was like I learned piano, electric, acoustic, drums, vocals. I learned how to play a lot of instruments, even the violin. Like I was in music, and so I'm a creative myself. And so I started doing graphic design because I looked on Instagram and I was like, oh, these football edits are cool. I'm gonna do that. Started doing it. The first time I ever got paid was Ray Lewis. I'm not sure if you guys know who Ray Lewis is.
Yep. Familiar with the greatest middle linebacker of all time.
Exactly. It's just like people at their level are hella close with their energy. Like they gotta protect that shit. So it takes a long ass time for them to actually make connection.
And build relationships.
Because not only that, they're also at the level right now where people are looking at them and they're like, oh, their shit becomes serious. It's like there's old high school homies start texting over Instagram, bro, I believed in you from the start. Like I got that shit. Like,
totally.
And Flo just looks at that and he's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
you weren't there. What the fuck you mean? You were clowning me for putting out shit on SoundCloud at that age.
Literally.
Like that. And now you're trying to be like, you're the one, you're the GOAT, like you're coming up. No.
As soon as there's a little bit of traction, a little bit of motion.
Is that not kind of funny though? I feel like we can attest to like the content creation and like putting shit out there part, but like if a nigga hit me in the DMs on some crazy shit, I don't even know how I would react to that.
It's someone that you haven't talked to in years.
Yeah, bro. Like
I have that shit. I have that shit happening right now. Like at the point we're at, that like just because like I'm pretty vocal about some of the shit we do on social media. So like I'm in LA this week. I'm going to London this summer because I want the people that follow me industry wise to tap in. So those old high school homies that still follow me are like, bro, you're popping off. Like your shit's crazy. Like whenever you get back to town, let's link. I'm like, yeah, nah.
You didn't like me a little bit ago.
Yeah, I had
you only like London, Owen.
I had a high school friend that like he was in my class and I was doing all this shit for free, right? Because like that's how I got started. I did a bunch of work for free just so I could get the hours, get the resume, get the experience. And I told him one time, I was like, yeah, no, I have a business meeting from work. And he was like, is it really work though? I was like, what do you mean? He was like, you're not getting paid. I was like, it's like, I mean,
fuck you.
I'm still doing work. And he's like, nah, that's just a hobby thing. Like,
bro, when niggas said that you still doing a little podcast?
I was like,
nah, working on that?
That's not a hobby thing. But now, bro just tapped in me like 2 weeks ago. I was like, bro, you're doing great shit. I'm proud of you. And I was like, you called my shit a hobby 2 years ago. I don't want to hear that shit.
You said that?
Yeah. I
good.
I looked at him and I was like, you call my shit a hobby? Like we're not homies like that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Good, bro. Good.
You gotta shut the fake ones down. You know what I'm saying? Big bosses only on the TheStereoVision podcast. You know what I'm saying? CEO shit.
Come on.
You know,
appreciate that.
What up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the TheStereoVision podcast.
Come on, episode 65. We got another very special guest. The boy Owen, an upcoming manager, owner of Views Management. Introduce yourself, man.
Yeah, my name's Owen Smith. I'm a 19-year-old kid from Baltimore that just kind of found his way in the industry thus far, and I'm making stuff happen. You know how it is? Making stuff happen.
Yeah, we're going to emphasize that again. 19 years old.
Come on.
Playmaker. You know what I'm saying? Get money type nigga. You know, we had the pleasure of meeting bro at Sunday Sounds.
Yeah.
Literally one of the best up and coming events I've been to.
Annabelle is a GOAT, bro.
Shout out Annabelle, shout out Barry.
The whole team.
That good shit. All that shit going on, man. It's a great community, and I think, you know, we had the pleasure of just getting to chop it up there. Yeah. You know, see two of your artists.
Two of my artists were out there.
You know what I'm saying? Hush Forte, Flozig, shout out them. So
yeah, before we get into this, can we get your roster? Can I hear everyone that you're managing right now?
Yeah, for sure. So part of what Views does is we're labeled a management company, but that's so we can work outside of labels. So our guys can still sign with labels if they get the opportunity to or if they want to, but we still work with them afterwards. But we do everything a label does, and we also freelance our work out. So we're working with heavy names out there that have like those 20 to 30 million monthly listeners, and we're doing freelance work for them for the sake of the fact that I can't drop names. Yeah. But we are working with we're working with high-state artists, and we also have a roster signed, which Hush, Flozig, Samad Savage, Zeph France, Charlie Powers, are our guys.
Yup.
I love it, bro. I love it.
Two of them really put on our show this weekend, back into Sunday Sounds, Flozig and Hush Forte.
Man, Hush's sound problems we had just screwed that set over.
The thing is that shit's gonna happen inevitably.
It's gonna happen.
You know what I'm saying? You can't avoid it. It's an hour later. It's always gonna be a reality, but you know what I mean? It's experience.
It is.
Handled it well, you know what I mean? I think he still made the connection with the people. I seen him walking around after, you know what I mean? Niggas was fucking with him, bro. I actually had a homegirl who literally came by herself to Sunday Sounds just to see him perform.
For real.
And like, you know what I mean? She left up
Connect
with
me
Kari,
with her.
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. That's fire. That's fire.
Shout out the homie. But yeah, she really enjoyed it, bro.
Connect
you know
me
what
with
I
her.
mean?
We're gonna send some signed stuff out.
Awesome.
That's really cool. And the sound things, honestly, it's a win. You know, it's a loss, but it's a win because this is such a good event. That's why I'm always preaching Sunday Sounds to artists. It's like, this is such a good event to come and get reps and to make mistakes. Because there's a little $15 bar ticket. You know what I'm saying? That's what I looked at Sam before the event and I was like, that's the best thing. Like, you just need an open bar to have a good event. Because we could sound check for 3 more hours and I'm just going to go keep getting drinks.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And it's like, there's a bunch of people are networking. It's not like all the attention is only on these sets. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So I think it's a great way to build experience and to learn how to deal with technical difficulties for when you do get in a situation where there's a little bit more pressure. You know what I mean?
What we were asked before the show if we went to do a live stream and whatnot, and like whenever we were asked that, we were like under the impression that we weren't the only ones that were gonna do live band, and then we showed up and we were the only ones with a live band, and I was like, that's gonna make that transition difficult. Like for people out there that are like still trying to understand how to do venues and how to do live shows like that. If you are the only artist that has a live band, I recommend not doing it just because the track switch and the sound difficulties between that is so difficult. That's intense. Because the sound guy all of a sudden goes from like 2 channels to have to deal with to like 12.
Yeah.
And then he has to deal with the reverb. Then he has to deal with making sure all the cables are set up right. The setup beforehand takes an extra 10 minutes. The teardown afterwards takes an extra 10 minutes.
Yeah.
If you're doing your own show and you're headlining your show, or you've got a significant set in that show, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But like if you're in like a showcase type situation where you've got 10, 15 minutes to do it, go with the track. The energy, the crowd will still be there, especially if you're the only one that has a live show. They're used to the track by then. You're not going to be dropping anybody else. People aren't going to expect more than what you're going to deliver.
Yeah.
Secure your energy, and you can secure your energy by doing just track and not messing up with some sound checks, which is something we go through. You know, you live and you learn. You live and you learn.
And
that's a good game.
Really why we wanted you on the pod, because things like that are things that not only up and coming managers, you know what I mean, people in your position need to hear, but the artists that are doing it themselves. You know what I mean? I feel like we're entering a very DIY era in music, you know what I mean? So there is a lot of trial by fire type things that you're going to have to learn. So if there's other young people that are going through those experiences and then putting that out to the world, you're going to help someone on their journey, you know what I mean? So
for sure.
That's really, really dope, bro. So I want to get into your background a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, we like to just start off with like why people got into music, you know what I mean? Whether it's, you know what I mean, family, specific album, experiences, what got you into the genre?
Of course. Well, music has always been like free therapy for me. I mean, besides like the Spotify subscription, like it's free therapy for me. Like you sit back, like it's just something to make me feel like I'm not alone out there. Specifically, like Mac Miller has been somebody in my life that's just touched and graced my life to the point where I look at it and I'm like, I would not be the same person I am sitting on this couch today if Mac hadn't touched me in some way. Like he swimming in particular. Like you sit back. Yeah, that album is crazy. From all the triple entendres, the metaphors and similes woven within it, the different chord plays and how it weaves in and out, to like the samples he uses, the names of the samples in the songs mean something to the song. Like if you haven't been on Spotify and listened to, I forget the name of the podcast, but there's a podcast out there that goes in depth.
Dissect.
Yeah.
If you haven't listened to that, dude,
Their Frank shit is fire.
it gives you an entire new appreciation for his art. Like it goes from like, oh yeah, he's just a rapper who has cool music and can go over jazz, to like, oh, he put so much attention to detail in that. He put so much into that it's just it's mind blowing. Like he was a master of the craft.
And you've always been like a deep dive kind of person when it comes to like when you find an artist you love.
Absolutely. Like I look at everything from the geography to everything. Like people don't understand that geography has a big part to play in your sound. Like if you look at DMV rappers, like if you look at Pusha T to Pharrell to fucking Pharrell's not a rapper really, but like
he teeters the line.
He can spin a little bit.
Spin a little bit. But like from Pusha to Pharrell to like Al Doms, I'm not sure if you guys have been put on the Al Doms.
Al Doms is dope.
He's cool. Like to Corday, to Free Party, to Revel. Like there's so many artists out there with that DMV sound that you listen and you're like, the way he's spitting is DMV.
And
like,
you need to know that they from there.
Yeah.
And it's DMV. And so Florida, bro, something's in the Florida water. I swear.
I love it right now. I love it. You got a favorite artist right now besides Flo, and you guys from out there? Who's your favorite artist out of Florida right now?
There's this band called Sage. which is really good. They have some really good stuff.
I'm gonna tap in.
They're really good. They just released a song with Frank Sativa.
Okay.
That is incredible. I forget the name of it, but go tap in. They're incredible. I think they're sitting at like 50 to 70 oh my goodness, 50 to 70,000 monthly listeners right now, and they're it. Like they have that touch to it. That's just, I'm surprised they haven't blown up yet.
There's the gem. Y'all can still be early.
We in it, though. Like I don't know. I love La Tyler, bro.
Yeah,
That nigga out of Florida, and then Low Shimmy are like my
Low
two
Shimmy's
guys that I'm
crazy.
on crazy right now from Florida, bro.
The Florida water's crazy.
Yeah, I'll give you real Boston Richie.
Yeah,
I'll give you real Boston Richie because he be going hard.
Bro, that nigga gassing, but okay, so that's really, really cool that you kind of have been a historian of music, even though, you know what I mean, you're young, but like, so like, did you go back to a lot of historic shit, or you just really kind of living in the current day scene? So
like for me, like when you look at history of rap, like because I'm 19, so like I grew up in like the SoundCloud era, which is a different, like that's what the era that inspired me, the mixtape era, the SoundCloud era. So like 1999 by Joey Badass is crazy. That's the type of stuff that got me into rap like that. Because I grew up in a very Christian household. Like my mom's a pastor right now. My dad, he listens to like hard rock and like heavy metal type stuff. Rap was not played around my household until I was like 12. My mom put on some guy named Eminem, which sounds like the most white family ever. My last name's Smith. We are a white family. It's but she put on some guy named Eminem, and I was like, this is crazy.
Lose yourself.
I didn't know guys could speak this fast. Like, it's crazy. And then I started getting more and more into it on my own. The next rapper that really impacted my life was XXX and Tessian, just because that's SoundCloud era. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of those guys. I came across him when I was on Instagram. Whenever when I first got my page, and there's a sports edit that had "Look at Me" attached to it, and I listened to that, and I was like, oh my goodness, like this guy.
What the fuck is this? You know a nigga was getting tackled or some shit crazy.
Oh yeah, hit stick.
I think it was the Sean Taylor hit in the Pro Bowl that
classic.
Was attached to. But it was I was like, I need to find this. I looked it up on YouTube, and my whole world changed. Like I started going through the comment sections, started finding more songs, started going through the YouTube playlists of songs like that, started attaching that. Then I discovered SoundCloud, and then SoundCloud's algorithm put me on a whole bunch of other stuff.
And that's so interesting because I feel like from that era, and I think like you can speak to it a little bit too, like that SoundCloud era I feel like directly feeds into the more underground lane right now that is Destroy Lonely Ken Carson.
Totally.
Which we caught, I think, the back end of the SoundCloud era.
Yeah.
Right? Like I even feel like between like our two age groups, there's normally a disconnect, but I feel like that's why it's interesting with you, because I feel like you more lean towards what we listen to, the Odd Future Babies, you know what I mean? The Mac Miller, like that's what like I feel like I was coming up when you were listening to X and shit.
Yeah, like I listened to Mac whenever I was for the first time when I was a junior in high school, which was like 4 or 5 years ago. And so like that was a while ago. If you listen to like compared to whenever he actually dropped the album Swimming, like he dropped that in 2018. I got turned on in like 2020. Yeah. So like I was on the back end of Mac, like he'd already passed whenever I listened to him. And my biggest regret in life is not listening to him sooner and catching him in concert, because like he came to the venue that I live near like all the time. It's called the Fillmore in Silver Springs. There's like 1,000 Fillmores out there, but like the one in Silver Springs he came to, he did shows there. He brought Joey on there. He did like a bunch of stuff in that, and like to realize and be like, bro, he was doing shows in the prime of his career 40 minutes away from me, and I wasn't aware. Yeah. And now he's touched my life in such a way.
It's heartbreaking.
I have the exact same regret, bro, because I'm from Spokane, Washington, and we don't get talent coming through our city. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like, I do remember Mac on the Good AM tour, and I was tapped in, and I really enjoyed his music, and he was playing at my favorite venue, and I forget what happened, but my friends went, and I couldn't go, and then I had tickets to see him on Swimming tour at the Greek Theater in LA, and then he passed. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I also missed him, and I think that is what if someone right now asks me my biggest regret, I also default to like not seeing Mac in concert.
This kills me. Tyler was on his Igor tour and came to DC, and like before Igor Tyler was still pretty big, but it wasn't Tyler now. You know what I mean? Yep. So like there was available tickets, and my friends went, and I had homework that night.
You skip the homework.
You
skip the homework every time. 100% of the time.
Lessons learned the hard way.
I have learned because I didn't realize, like, and my ear wasn't as defined as it is now. So, like, when I listened to Igor for the first time through and through, whenever that was a thing, I was like, oh, this is weird. But now that, like, my ear has been defined and I've started getting more into, like, those projects, Igor is historic.
Nigga, I'm like a huge Tyler, Earl, all that. I fucking hated their music at first.
I did.
Like, it was not.
I was
It
listening to
didn't
Lil
connect
Mosey.
at first. You know what I'm saying? This nigga Blueberry Faygo.
I feel you.
I was listening to Blueberry Faygo and Blink 182 in high school.
No.
And now I'm like, and that changed, like, literally. I can pinpoint the exact moment my music taste changed was, like, as soon as COVID hit. And I wasn't in my high school. I wasn't influenced by the people around me. And I could actually, like, discover my music for myself without those outside influences. Everything changed.
Wow.
When would you say music flipped for you? When was like your like the change to the type of listener you are now? You know what I mean? And it could be a recent change.
That's a great question. I feel like it evolved a lot when I seen Tyler live at Flognaw for the first time. Because Tyler I caught late. You know, like we talk about it, like I think when we started StereoVision, I still wasn't a huge Tyler fan. Like you wrote that article, I'm like, this is dope. I appreciate Tyler. Yeah. But now I'll tell you that Call Me If You Get Lost is my favorite album of the last 5 years, and the one that like beats it out is probably Igor in 2019. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. So I think seeing Tyler live and understanding Tyler definitely changed a lot for me.
For sure.
What about you? When did your taste shift?
Probably freshman year of college when I started linking up with like the guys like Aaron, Nathan, like our like our homies that we like hang with day to day. Like they was real big into SoundCloud, but like Young Thug.
Ooh, Young Thug SoundCloud.
I think it was like Young Thug. I want to say like even like Gucci, like older Migos stuff, like that. Like when I gained an appreciation for trap music, because in high school I was real lyrics, and then I became that. On the back end, I was like Ty the Creator, like you know what I mean, more of the hipster stuff, even like a Vampire Weekend and stuff. And then when I got an appreciation for like that real trap sound, it flipped everything for me, bro. I think it made me the more diverse listener I am today.
Totally.
Sure. I got put on the to Gucci in like right after he dropped Evil Genius. He had a song with with Lil Skies.
Yeah.
And I was like because of just where I grew up and how I grew up in the city, and like even though I was the minority in my school most of the time, because I grew up around black culture my entire life, I was not influenced by black music and by music that had heavy cultural influences, just because my mom was very precautious over like all the influences I had. As I said, super Christian household. I was homeschooled until 9th grade.
Okay.
I didn't have I didn't have that many chances. Like my biggest social influence in life was going to church on the weekends. So like I didn't have that. So I had to discover it for myself. And so I found Gucci through Lil Skies, which is crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how the fuck did your brain get polluted, and how does your mom feel about this now?
Oh, that's a good question. So my brain got polluted through SoundCloud era, because really those algorithms, dude. I don't think people stress how important it is whenever like the accessibility to new music that we have, just through Spotify radio, through different radio stations on Apple, through just going through and this new DJ feature on Spotify right now. That's like all I've been turned on recently, because it has a mix of the stuff I love. It has some new stuff in there. It starts getting my blood pumping a little bit.
It's fun.
And I can skip it, which I can't do on a normal. I can't do on a normal radio. You know what I mean? So if I'm just really not fucking with it, I don't have to sit through it and be like, I don't like it. I can skip and I'm there.
I'm the biggest SoundCloud advocate. Like, you know what I mean? When I get the next check, you know what I mean? SoundCloud go. Niggas ain't gonna be fucking with the kids.
That's the reoccurring. This is the reoccurring statement that he makes in every single podcast. He's been talking about SoundCloud Go for fucking 3 years.
Bro.
I'll believe when I see it.
Trust y'all gonna hear all the mixes and shit, bro.
Dude.
You ever had that situation like where like you like on aux or some shit, and then like an ad will pop up, and like everyone gotta like just kind of sit through that?
I remember the greatest moment in my life is whenever I convinced my mom to get Spotify Premium for me. I was like, I'm no longer that guy that takes aux and gets the weird Trojan ads on my phone. Like I can sit back and I can be like, yeah, no, I got premium, and then automatically as soon as you say that, the aux get passed to you because no one wants to hear that. It don't matter about your music taste, because your music taste can be dog water, But if you don't got ads, it's better than everybody
It's
else.
better than any.
This is a fact. This is a fact. This is a fact.
I'll be there soon, man. Okay, so since we talked about Tyler a little bit, how we feeling about the new album coming on Friday?
Dude, it is brilliant. And to me, I think it shows just what the next album's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because Tyler, like, if you look at the history, I'm trying to become more of a historian. There's things that I look at, I'm still learning every day, where I look back and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that. Like, I looked at DJ Drama's past couple albums, like the past 3 that he's put out, I've been like, dude, this kid, DJ Drama's crazy. And then right?
This 50-year-old kid is ridiculous.
Right?
That's hilarious.
Right?
Somebody should sign this guy.
And then, like, I go on a podcast, and someone's talking about DJ Drama, and they're talking about, like, the history. I'm like, I didn't even know this guy was crazy like that. Like, it's, like, I'm still becoming more and more of a historian, you know what I mean? Because
totally.
there's just different lanes that I just haven't been able to touch in, which is part of why I love working with artists, because each artist has their own history of music and their own background, and then learning from them really helps understand my music.
Bro.
And then talking to the tastemakers or like influencers on TikTok, I like calling them tastemakers. It's just the word that...
We'll get into it.
It's a nicer way to say it, yeah.
Curators.
Curators. Because, like, if you think of influencer nowadays, like, I look at Annabelle, I don't see influencer. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see, like, a Kim K, she's a tastemaker. She has helped discover different branches of dance and club for me that has defined my taste.
Ooh, okay, but we got to reclaim the word influencer, because now, like, you brought up her as an example. I feel like, you know, anyone that's putting stuff out there aims to have influence.
It's like, even artists, even sports, even...
And that makes her more valuable when, like, and, like, you know what I mean, I gotta get, like, when you're marketing yourself
for sure
to other people, because niggas won't give you what you deserve, they will give you what you can negotiate.
Absolutely.
So when you at that table, it damn near could be more valuable to be seen as an influencer. I'll be thinking of that.
It is like, and you walk into a business meeting, you say influencer.
Yeah.
Like, it's simple. Like, I walked in a meeting with Tunji the other day, the CEO of Def Jam, and I said, these are the influencers that we have relations with. And we're not going to question that. But if I'm talking to her and I'm talking to the general public, they're tastemakers. Like, they curate taste. They're curators. Would even be a good word for it. Like, but like influencer, they're not out there. They're not Kim K. They're not.
It's a difficult word.
It's the right word, but it just has a very negative connotation in today's age. You know what I mean?
Because of just how many influencers are hit nowadays and how many of them have trash out there. Like, 6ix9ine's an influencer, and I mean that in the most negative way possible.
we ain't talk about that nigga getting packed out.
And then dipping to Cuba.
Out though in the fucking, because that was a crazy sequence of events, because you seen the video of the girl recording him before he got packed out. So this nigga was on the Stairmaster in a full Montclair bubble coat. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
No, you deserve to get your shit rocked,
like,
bro.
you know, like,
run them pockets.
A low profile is a thing, you know. That bit. Nigga, bro.
I mean, his dreads, the rainbow hair he got is enough low profile enough. Bro.
That nigga was stupid, bro. But
I'm in the industry. I can't call anybody stupid, but it's
facts.
But, and you can change that. Y'all see the Lil Pump transformation?
Lil Pump is crazy. Like, yeah. And then there's different artists. There's artists that find a way to cancel themselves. Like, I was talking to one of my guys. He's one of my mentors. His name's Sasha Stone. He's one of the first promoters and bookers for Dreamville, J. Cole, Jid, Drake. Like, he was on the early end of all the legends right now. And me and him started talking about this, and he was like, yeah, bro, Chance the Rapper is the only rapper in the history of the art to cancel himself only off of music.
Yeah.
And it was like crazy to me. I was like, that's true.
Okay, so how do you feel about Chance? Because you're like, we were in the heat of the moment, like, you know what I mean, like acid rap 10 Day, that was us in like high school.
Chance was never canceled from me. I just ignored one part of his journey.
Okay. Me too. We're the same way.
But you have an appreciation for him.
Oh my goodness, he changed my perspective on Justin Bieber.
No cap, bro.
Yeah.
No, him and Trav on the Maria I'm Drunk shit. That, bro, but you know Justin ain't write them verses.
And then
Justin did not write them verses.
And I'm just gonna say, like, straight up, like, people who still have him canceled or written down their book, look at his past 5 songs, the singles he's dropped.
Yeah.
Wrath, nobody's talking about that.
Highs and the Lows was really good.
Highs and Lows, but like, I'm not gonna. Wrath came out, and he's just a feature on the song, but his bar was better than it was old Chance. It was fire Chance, and I looked at that and I was like, yeah, no, this is instant play, like 1 every 5 songs. Like,
did we see the snippet today? Did we all see the snippet
I didn't see
today?
the snippet, no.
He posted a snippet today of a new song that sounds really, really, really cool.
I'm not gonna lie to you. My past 24 hours have been taken up by like the Mad Lib stuff, like Mac Lib.
Oh my god.
Baudet, he has an album coming out with Baudet. He said it in the same interview.
Oh my god.
Dude, she hasn't dropped music in 5 years. To have a Baudet and a Mad Lib, crazy.
I don't know about that.
You don't know Baudet?
I'm not familiar either.
She's incredible. She's incredible.
If we get a Mac Miller Madlib album in the same year, we get a Boldy James fucking
Jid and Metro?
Jay
Jid and
Dilla, bro,
Metro?
and Jid and Metro, bro. These are some of the craziest things I've ever heard in my life.
I mean, I
then-
think you were around it.
Yeah, and then Jerry June.
Larry June and
The
Alchemist.
Alchemist.
Jerry June. Larry, and then he's doing it with The Alchemist, and then Joey Badass is one of the main features on that album. To hear Joey on an Alchemist beat is going to change my life.
Yeah.
Because, bro, like, and this is like something I gotta tread lightly on because, like, you know what I mean, up and coming producers are fucking incredible.
They are.
I think that, to be honest, that is what makes a I'm trying to think of sound innovators. A Low Shimmy, like we like, fucking Babyface Ray, Baby Money, all these like up and coming rappers, especially in the trap lane. I think like they utilize fucking up and coming producers to keep their sounds fresh and all that.
Yeah.
Invaluable. But if you know what your sound is and have already started to kind of perfect it, I think it is invaluable to lock in with one person who you can catch a vibe with and not feel the pressure to make 18 songs.
Ever.
Yeah.
Give us 12. You know what I mean? Fuck it. We don't even got to put a number on it. But give us something that is just a cohesive body of work that encapsulates this moment in time.
Absolutely. And
Agreed.
And talking about the producer thing, like, this is something that like people who aren't in the industry wouldn't really catch unless they have a really good ear. If you look at the past guys that you look at and you're like, oh, they're up and coming stars, whether you found them on TikTok, whether you found them on Spotify Radio, whether you found them through a curator, no matter what you look at them, the best stars, the best up and coming stars right now are guys who have been producing for 10 years and putting out music for 2. Like the self-production aspect of that is what is making stars. Look at Montel Fish, look at Ty Verde, look at Flozig, look at like
Eam Triplin,
for sure. He was Snot's producer for years before he started putting out his own stuff, and now they're managed by the same cat. Like it's there is people out there that are booming right now because they understand music, and then they started putting out art. Like I love the websites that you can buy your beats off of. It's helpful for inspiration. I love YouTube, listening to beats. Like, J. Cole will be legendary forever for that Batman beat he just did and put out on YouTube.
Yep.
Crazy. Like, put out your beats on YouTube, listen to beats on YouTube, use that.
And you can get paid, bro.
And you get paid.
You can get, like, you know what I mean? Cardo talked about this in the interview. Sure. Like, you could work the little BeatStars play, you know what I mean? All that stuff. Like, obviously, you know what I mean? Like, you have to always have a plan and bigger aspirations for yourself.
Don't get me wrong, like
a quick check.
Greg Mateo is he's the CEO of BeatStars, and he's a friend of mine. And the things he is doing for young artists out there, because that's what producers are. They're artists. The thing they're doing for young artists is insane. He has transformed artist careers. Because what you like if you follow him in the BeatStars page, every top 5 album for the past 5 years has had a BeatStar beat on it.
Yeah.
Like pretty like some.
Yeah.
Like Yeat's album had 2, Trippie Redd's album had 3. Like those trending albums from people that are like out there, there's a BeatStar beat on most of them.
These packs, bro, like you gotta think like, okay, like even like someone like me. I'm very young in my career. Like, you know what I mean? I don't have all the connections. So if I'm trying to like really put together something of quality for an artist that like has like a curated like ear to it, you know what I mean? BeatStars is like fucking world changing because then I can go on YouTube, find a YouTube type beat, and maybe if it's not the perfect YouTube type beat, I can go in their fucking description, link to their BeatStars account, go through all of their shit, you know what I mean?
Totally.
Purchase it, make sure they get paid, and then it sets the market.
It does.
Because if you go on BeatStars, like there are very few people charging less than like what? $30 for like a non-exclusive license, like $150 for like, you know what I mean, stems and shit. Like it helps people let them know like what you should be getting paid at a minimum.
And look at the SoundCloud era, like that non-exclusive license. There's so many beats that have been discovered and made because 3 artists hop on that, and then they're like, this is really good. And then it starts a wave of people using that same exact beat to see if they can top one other, and then the producer gets the claim they need. It's the SoundCloud era changed production.
The production's valuable. I don't know that I want to learn more about it. I'm so like artist facing, you know, and we have friends like Glassman, you know what I mean, who I think keeps us tapped into that lane. But like, you know, it's dope to be able to contribute to them. I love seeing what like Ali's doing for engineers, bro.
For sure.
This is what it's all about. This is why we have you on the podcast. You know, the people who aren't the artists and aren't necessarily the front people, but like their amazing contributions to the industry, bro. It's dope to see.
I appreciate that.
Well, we were talking about a lot of really high profile releases. I got to hear both of your guys' producer rapper album that you're most excited for that's confirmed dropping this year.
Confirmed is difficult.
Or rumored.
Rumored, because I don't know when it's dropping, but Mac would take that spot. But if it's not dropping in the year, it's got to be Metro and shit. Just because Metro is probably one of my favorite producers of all time. That man he's incredible with it. There's nothing like it. And Jid has very quickly taken my top, like one of my top 5 spots. Like,
no, that's gonna shake some shit up. Hearing Jid over like some of these like trap beats is gonna really put a lot of people on that think he's like too nichey, too artsy. You know what I mean?
And
like,
I'm not gonna lie to you, I love Jid because he's one of the most humble guys I've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I went to the Atlanta Day 2 show, and because Sasha was there, one of the many very, very high highlights of my career is getting there and then talking to Sasha and talking to Philip. And Philip is one of Drake's and OVO's guys, and he's had a really, really big career in the music industry, and they're two of my mentors now. But meeting them and talking to them, and then Sasha being like, "Yeah, you do anything tonight?" And I was like, "No." Crossing fingers, he'd give me like at least a ticket in the door. He's like, "Yeah, let's hit the show." Hands me an all access pass.
Wow.
And then just walk around in that world for a night. Insane. I went backstage. I started eating wings. Jid walked in the door. I was wearing this really nice Knitworth. It's a like hand woven sweater company. It's the only piece of clothing I treasure. It has Mac on the front and the back. I'll show you all a picture of it.
He threw a fit that night.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to throw something crazy.
And Jid looked at that and he said, "That is incredible." And I was like, "Thanks, dude. Like, I appreciate you loving it." And then he talked with me for like a good 30 minutes.
Wow.
I was just he didn't even know I was connected to Sasha until Sasha walked in later. Mm-hmm. And then whenever Sasha walked in a little bit later, he was like, "Yeah, this is the kid that's going to carry me when I'm old." So like Philip and Philip had been talking about me for a little bit because me and Philip had been tapped in for like a while.
Yeah.
And then Sasha just said that to Jid afterwards and was like, "Yeah, this is the guy that's going to be carrying me when I'm old," because like he saw the. I tell them every in and out of what we do. Like, the stuff that I have NDA signed for, all that stuff, just because they're trained in this. They're not going to tell anybody.
No, yeah. At some point, you breach.
And and you need to have somebody that you can go to with that has the experience and the mentality of like, "Oh no, I've been in this kid's shoes before. Make sure you don't do this."
Yeah.
And I'm 19. I still have so many things to learn about this industry, from a history, from like, oh yeah, DJ drama is actually kind of important, to just like how you should do a setup in a band. But I've also learned a lot through my oopsies, like and all my mistakes.
Yeah.
And so having them guide me and then being like, "Yeah, you made that mistake. This is how you get up," and like we'll work it through.
Yeah.
So him telling that to Jid was incredible. 1,010% say that while I'm tapped in with like Cole's team, while I'm tapped in with Kendrick's team, while I'm tapped in with Drake's team, and they're the people that are helping me out, I would not be here without Annabelle. I would not be here without Barry. Putting Flozig on the first Sunday Sounds lineup that we did back in like October, right around Halloween. Mm-hmm. Having that show in particular changed a lot for us. And so because that's whenever labels pull up those things. Mm-hmm. Then we got the Atlantic interest, and then Atlantic spawned into 4 other labels, and then those 4 other labels turned into 7 other executives, and those 7 other executives turned into 10 other artists, and those 10 other artists turned into whole fucking teams. Mm-hmm. So it just started a lot.
Brick by brick, bro.
You gotta build brick by
bro.
brick.
You can't
leverage your network. Leverage your network. That's the most important thing.
Let's run this Jermaine story back a little bit though.
For sure.
Rewind a little bit and let's set the scene again.
Okay. So I was talking with Jid, right, just kind of about Mac. Me and him had like a 30-minute conversation about Mac.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Mac is the one that talked Jid into doing the Imagine Dragons song that really made Jid's career.
I didn't know that.
Jid has ad-libs on at least 5 songs in Swimming.
That's dope. I had no idea.
He's not credited with any of them, but they were a creative duo that is untalked about. And so they were huge together, right? Like they had a really nice compatibility. And so after Mac passed, there was that Jid had the heaviness and the weight of that. And so him kind of talking to me and then understanding that I was in the industry and then why I was there with Sasha and P, two guys that he loves and respects, and just talking to them was really cool because we then got to talk about Mac and how Mac was an inspiration for me and how I probably wouldn't be here today without Mac.
Mm-hmm.
And so he felt the love from that. He's a cool ass guy. Like, I don't think I've ever met a more genuine rapper or a more genuine guy, especially a guy that's sitting at 27 million monthly listeners.
Wow, yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen. Genuineness and quietness. And every single, I stood like beside him during the fan meet and greets. Every single fan that came up got the same warm smile, the same, dude, I appreciate you so much. Do you want a picture? Oh, you're FaceTiming your aunt? Let's do this. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So shout out to Jid. He's one of the best guys I've ever met. But back to the Cole story. I was with Sasha and P, and Sasha called him and was like, "Yo, like I'm with this kid named Owen. That like we're working with him and P's figuring some stuff out." And Cole just goes, "That's cool. Hope he's good." And I sat back in the back of the Uber like, Jermaine Cole knows my name.
No way.
Of course, I didn't talk to Cole. Right now he's not thinking about me ever. Cole and me are not in contact. I'm not best friends with Cole.
Yeah.
But like the fact that he heard my name in the back of the Uber was crazy to me because I have like J. Cole was one of those guys for me. Like I got into Cole through 21 through his album that Cole was the feature on. I think it's All In. I think was it.
I Am Better Than I Was.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And he's not featured on that song. He doesn't have him as a feature on the song. And so I went through a YouTube and Google dive of like, who is this guy? He's crazy. He's spitting game. Then I found Forest Hill Drives. Then I found Love Yours. And Love Yours was one of the songs before I was in a Mac. Love Yours was the song that was my therapy.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense now. We were like, I remember when 2014 Forest Hills Drive came out, and like I had like a 6 a.m. basketball practice, bro, and niggas all came in at 6 a.m. like, you hear that Cole? You hear that new Cole last night?
Yeah.
You heard that shit drop, and I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Because I'd heard like, get off my dick, like all that shit, bro. But then like, I don't know, that was one of the first times I really thought about what a nigga was saying in his raps, bro.
No, that was a big why was I hooping too the first time I listened to that, bro? And I hear Firing Squad.
Nigga.
I was about shoot like KD, and I was like, yo, I'm on 10 right now. I've never ever shot basketball this good in my life.
Before I had a pregame whenever Middle Child dropped, and I remember the entire high school was buzzing, and like my high school's a big high school. Like we got 4 stories to our stuff. Every classroom in the 4-story building has like 40 kids in it. Like my high school was a small university. Like, shout out Edgewood High School in Maryland, but like we were a small university, so overpopulated. God bless those teachers for not like crying themselves to sleep every night. Because we were on demon time. We were on demon time that entire high school.
How would you describe the DMV to someone who hasn't been there? I guess like focusing on Maryland.
On Maryland. Okay, so as somebody that grew up in Baltimore, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's a rough city to grow up in. Like I remember we moved out because my neighbor's house was gutted and she was shot, and like that, like right next to us. Mm-hmm. You see everything in that city, and it's really historically, like if you go into the history of Baltimore, it's known for redlining, which those of like that's a political term to say like they kept the poor, aka the black, on one side of the city, and they kept the rich, aka the white, on the other side.
And there was no opportunity to like get out. You can't get money. You can't get different housing, and it's very like it's in cahoots with the banks and government.
Absolutely.
Like
and it still is. Like Baltimore is still like that. Like it's still a city where you're like the white stick with the white, the rich, and then you go into like the low income and you're like, yeah, you see it. And so I grew up poor too. Like my parents didn't start making money until I was 16. And so that's the shoulders I rubbed. That's where I grew up in. We got so poor that we couldn't afford to live in the low income of Baltimore. Like that's low. And so we moved into my grandparents' property, in which we took like the last $5,000 we had, and we turned my grandfather's woodworking shed into a house. We put up 2 walls, some insulation, put down some floors, moved our beds in there, and that was our house till I was like 15. And so because of that, like that's also why I started working so young, because I looked at it like, no, if I'm going to college, I'm paying for that. If I want a car one day, my parents can't afford their own car. I have to buy that one day. I looked at it and I was like, my mom has been talking about a Jeep since I was 8. I'm gonna get her that white Jeep she wants. You know what I mean? Like that's how I grew up, and so I started doing work when I was 13. Like that's the first time I got paid for what I was doing. I started doing graphic design. Like I'm a creative myself.
Yeah.
Like people don't realize that managers and like good managers and good industry execs are also creatives. I've also been playing music for like my entire life. Like that was like I learned piano, electric, acoustic, drums, vocals. I learned how to play a lot of instruments, even the violin. Like I was in music, and so I'm a creative myself. And so I started doing graphic design because I looked on Instagram and I was like, oh, these football edits are cool. I'm gonna do that. Started doing it. The first time I ever got paid was Ray Lewis. I'm not sure if you guys know who Ray Lewis is.
Yep.
Familiar with the greatest middle linebacker of all time.
Exactly. Yep. And so when I was 13, I was making edits. His team hit me up. They said $30 for an edit. I was like, $30 for an edit for Ray Lewis? Absolutely. Posted it on his page and tagged me. My graphic design blew up a little bit because of that. I started doing more edits for more players. By the time I was 15, I had like an entire little brand thing going. Started writing because I really love football. My brain is just comprehends football, like from the slants.
Ravens fan, right?
I'm a Washington Commanders fan.
Okay.
Because whenever I started getting heavily into football was RG3's rookie season. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this guy's gonna be a star.
So like tragedy.
Yeah, never
so
mind.
like real tragedy.
And it's real tragedy, and the franchise has still not recovered. Sell the team. But like we.
No cap.
Sell the team.
Y'all in our division too. Fly Eagles fly. You know what I mean? Super Bowl on the way next year.
You got a Super Bowl on the way for the next 3 years. Jalen Hurts and Brown is unbeatable.
Talk about
Your
it.
defense, unbeatable. Your GM, unbeatable.
And
it makes me cry myself to sleep because I'm a Commanders fan, and there's nothing more I hate than genuine Philly fans. Like people in Philly that are Philly fans annoy me so much. That's the worst city I've ever been to in my life.
Philly sports fans are crazy. Crazy.
The city
Go
of
on the
brotherly
lamppost,
love?
jump off the lamp. Brotherly love is such BS. I don't know if you've ever stepped foot in Philly. It smells nothing like piss and just, it is disgusting. It is the worst city I've been in my entire life. I have been to like 12 different countries, and it is the worst city I've been in my
bro, you gonna have
life.
ops in Philly. Uzi gonna pull up on you.
Literally.
I love Uzi.
Meek finna pull up on you on a dirt bike and really see what's happening.
Uncle Willie.
Rocky, nigga?
Look. After Meek posted that photo by the pool with the French fries on
Yeah,
those,
yeah.
I can't respect him after that. I don't care how many goated songs he has. Blue Notes, one of my favorite songs of all time.
I love Blue Notes.
But I can't respect that guy. I'm so sorry. That was crazy.
No, that was a crazy thing to post.
Yeah, and then Philly is just not my city. Like I do not like that city.
But reeling it back, you're writing about football.
Sorry. So I'm writing up. Yeah, I'm ADHD, and so my brain.
No, so are we, Bo. So we gotta rewind it back sometime.
So I was writing about football. I started doing blogs, and then I started just getting to know more people in the industry, like executives. It got to a point where like my work, like at 16, had been featured on Sports Illustrated, Barstool Sports, Bleacher Report, like ESPN, NFL Network. Like my tweets, my articles, my shit like had been building, and I would work hard on that. And then it got to the point where like I was doing branding for the NFL company I was working on. Then I was doing project management, and then I looked at it and I was like, oh, I'm number 3 in the company, and I'm still doing this for free. Just because I was like, I needed the work.
Yeah.
And I wanted to build my resume. People out there who are clowning on you for doing free work, or if you don't see the vision behind your work, I don't care if you're in high school, I don't care if you're 27. The free work is what gets you the job in the future, because that resume is important. The experience and the oopsies you make while doing it for free, when you're not putting your own money behind it, and you're not doing it like at that level where if you take a loss, next thing you know, your bank account's red. Doing it for free and getting those free opportunities, people always have you do free work for them.
How did you feel while you were doing it?
Horrible.
Okay, same.
But at some point you have to prove that you wanted enough to do the work for free, because both sports and music are industries that so many people want to break into, so many people feel passionate about.
And so you need to prove yourself.
You have to weed it out, and like our generation don't like the free work. You know what I mean? We want all paid internships, all paid everything. But the older I get, the more important I realize that barrier to entry is important.
It is. And I'd just like to put this out. As I said, I'm 19, and my company is turning profit this year. We have some really cool artists that we're working with. We're doing some really cool things. I know the head of A&R at Atlantic. I know the CEO of Def Jam. I know some of the really cool guys at Epic and Interscope and Columbia and Parlophone and like all the record companies. I don't pay myself for my company. I don't. My bank account I think has 42 cents in it right now, and my savings has a couple racks. But that's just because I've been saving it since I was 15. I don't pay myself. I'm still doing the free work, and it's because I know I can eat ramen right now, and then see my company grow, and we're making a couple milli a year I can then pay myself $100,000 and not have to worry about it.
That's what I think I've realized is like a big thing that I think we can help with and speak to. And I don't think I realized it while I was even going through it. Because, like, you do get so caught up in that day-to-day. It's like, fuck, I'm working so hard and I'm still struggling, you know what I mean? I still have this pressure. But, like, once you get to the other side, like, the lessons you learned from the struggle and, like, the mental fortitude that it gave you to kind of get through those hard times. Not only that, it does build a sense of camaraderie with the other people in the industry, because you look at someone who's in a similar position, it's like you probably went through something that I went through as well, you know?
It's a rite of package, bro. I sit with all the older people at work and I look around and I say, you probably had to work harder for this shit than I did. And I know I worked my ass off. So, like, I know that we all deserve to be here.
For an industry like music, where it is a multi-billion-dollar industry, you do not step foot in a door without the rite of passage, which is working harder than anybody you know.
Okay.
Well, here's that. I say anybody than you know, because whenever you enter into the industry, you're going to know 10 people that work just as hard as you do and 20 more that work harder. And then you got to step up your game and you got to work. Like I did, I took a stopwatch on my phone. I'd like to point this out. I'm also in college. I'm a freshman in college. I'm a double major. I did a stopwatch on my phone every time I did work stuff throughout the day. 10 hours. Like I worked 9 hours and 47 minutes that day on work stuff for free. And that's an average day for me.
Not counting school, right?
Not counting school. And not counting the other work I have to do for to actually live, because I don't pay myself. My day starts at 7:30, 8 a.m. and ends at 2:33 a.m. every single day, because I'm young and my body can kind of take that, and it can take the sodium from the ramen, and it can take the
overdoing caffeine. The excessive amounts of caffeine.
I was a barista, which screwed that up, because that was my first job ever, and so I walked into this being able to take 4 shots of espresso like it was nothing. And so like now, like I get every day, whenever I flew to LA for this, I before I started my flight, I had a 5-shot espresso, like a latte. My plane landed, I drank that one, I got another one, took off because I had a layover, and then by the end of that flight, I drank that one, and when I landed, I got another one. I had like 15 shots of espresso that day, and I wasn't even quaking. Like it was just a normal.
You guys are
caffeine.
Cut from the same cloth.
No, need that.
Pot of
coffee in the morning, 4-shot espresso on the way to work, and then yerbs throughout the day. Like we gotta buzz.
If you're a creative, this is not an ad. I'm not getting paid for this, but if you're creative, get Death Wish coffee. Death Wish coffee is the highest legal amount of caffeine you can put in coffee, and it's the only reason I've survived this past year of my life.
Wow, I didn't even know about that. That's a put on.
Death Wish coffee is incredible. You can find it in Walmart. You can find it in Target.
Please change the name for that. Please. Whoever is over there.
It's good branding.
Let's change the name. Jesus Christ, bro. Because I can see how that could cause some problems in the future.
They warn people. There's a warning on the package, which is actually crazy. So this is a study from 2011 about cigarettes and nicotine. Part of my job is marketing and PR, so that's how I started, because I did the marketing for that NFL company. I did the branding, and then after I dropped off of that NFL company, I started working for NFL agencies and NFL players. Ray Lewis's podcast right now, I did the branding for originally, which I actually know him now. He's a cool guy. Like I have his number on my phone.
It's dope.
Text every once in a while.
Shout out to guy.
Ray's a dope guy. Just dope guy. But like that's how I got started. And so what I do, part of my work is I take an hour and a half a day and I listen to either a podcast, read an article, or read a book about the industry from a marketing exec artist level. Or just an interview of an artist that might have some stuff that I want to tap in with. It's just, I have to, you give what you get, right?
You gotta sharpen your craft, bro.
And so this is a study from 2011, I think, not by Berkeley, maybe Columbia, by a higher art, like a high marketing college, in which they realized that the warning label on cigarettes makes people 3 times more likely to buy them. The warning label makes people want to smoke them. The fact that it's a negative thing makes people want to do it more, which is just weird.
That's why I think you see now in the UK they got like the lungs and like the like to really fuck with people. That's I think that's the only way to do it. But I think the last thing I really want to get into, and I feel like this is like a really important topic for all of us to kind of contribute to, is how did you start to see more for yourself? because I feel like, you know what I mean, you rose above your circumstances, you know what I mean, coming from what you came from, growing up how you did. You know what I mean? You say, like, Washington, bro, Spokane, like, to be specific, like, you know what I mean? Like, you clearly had to envision more for yourself because I don't know if there was a lot of people around you doing that, you know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
So, like, what kind of made you shift your thinking to be like, I see more for me?
That's a great question.
I don't know.
Do you know?
I could say that, like, for me doing that, like, when I saw, like, I was fortunate to go to a school, like, kind of the opposite of you. I was the minority, and there was a bunch of people that had a lot more than I did. And you know what I mean? While you obviously want to keep up with people, go around, move around with them, it's like, I know that this is attainable.
Yeah.
There's somebody out here getting this crazy type of money, and why shouldn't it be me?
For sure.
Like, I'm in too close of a proximity to this to not at least figure out how, like, maybe my friends can't teach me how to get the money that their parents did, but I can ask their parents.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And, like, if I approach them as just a regular kid, they're going to give me game that they may not give someone else, you know what I mean? So
For sure.
I think that was a big changing point for me when I realized that.
I think I had a reverse than that. Like, I remember looking around all through my middle school and high school at my friends' parents, some of the really successful people in Spokane, you know what I mean? And being like, I don't want that. You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't look... Like, this guy is one of the most well-respected, richest people in my city.
Drives a Porsche, drives a nice car.
And I'm like, you're lame. Like, I'm so sorry, but I think you're lame. Like,
you're balding at 55, and you're like, I don't want to, like, you don't like your wife, and you don't hang out with your kids. I don't want your life.
And when there's nobody in your place that you can aspire to be, and you still have aspirations, you have to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that's when I made the jump to LA for school, you know? And then I saw what was out there. You know what I mean? Because I love music, but then I saw people obtaining things that money can't buy because of the person they were, because of the relationships they had. And I said, okay, I don't want money. I want relationships. And I want influence. And I want to be working in what I love every day of my life. You know what I mean? It's not about the bread.
I don't... Honestly... I look at myself as my own biggest critic. Like, if you're in my private Instagram story, most of the work connects I do because are on there because I feel like maybe you get a part of my life. You look at that and you're like, oh yeah, this kid hates himself. Which, like, just straight up, which I don't, but like, I am my biggest.
You have to self-evaluate, bro.
I look at that and I look at that. And I'm like, okay, cool. I know shit, but I'm not working with them yet. I got more to do. Cool. My company's my company Views was founded a year ago. So, like, in a year, we've made as much progress as this, and it's insane to me. And there's certain moments throughout my career that I've looked like, for instance, when I went to New York for the first time I was able to afford a work trip, which is crazy to me. At 19, I sat back and I was like, I can afford a work trip. This is crazy. And I paid for a hotel room in New York for a week, which is a small fortune.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
New York is different than even here, bro.
New York is crazy. I remember I sat down and I DoorDashed a pizza. A single 14-inch cheese pizza was $50.
Oh my God.
50?
50.
In New York?
Crazy.
Go get a bacon, egg, and cheese.
That's what I looked at that and I was like, if it's not 2 a.m. and I wasn't, like, I don't have the munchies right now, I would not be getting this pizza, but that's 2 a.m. and I got the munchies. But like, there's certain things where, like, I look back. Whenever I got off my flight in New York, I sat outside the airport waiting for my Uber, and I started crying. And I was just like, man, I haven't even met these guys that I'm about to do my future with. I didn't Flo didn't meet me at the airport. I tapped into them later that night. But I've gotten to a point where I'm in New York City right now, and I'd gone to New York City 1,000 times because, like, Maryland's not that far away. I take a train up. It's a 2-hour train ride. I'd walked around during, like, the high school, just, like, walk around with my family on the weekends, seen New York, been in New York. I saw that city from a different lens. Yeah. The entire thing, I was like, I got myself here. Yeah. I'm not on anybody's coattails. Yeah. I'm not doing this with my parents. I got myself here. Yeah. And I can afford here for a week, and I can eat food with my people, and I can go meet the head of Atlantic at A&R. I mean, the head of A&R at Atlantic, and I can do these things, right? And I got myself here, and it's crazy. And I started crying a little bit because seeing how much I've been through in my life and the loss that I've been in, I had to go through, and the strength it's taken to literally wake up in the morning sometimes, and be like, okay, we do this one more time, and tomorrow we wake up and we do this
one more time. It's a day at a time, bro. It's a day at a time.
And every day is its own war, I swear. Especially like this, because I live in Knoxville, Tennessee right now because of college. Is where I go, and I sit back and I'm like, I don't see the pluses of the work that I put in. I told you, I put in 10-hour days. And I don't see the pluses because I'm not sitting in the studio with Flo, who's in Orlando. I'm not seeing the shows I'm booking for Samad in New York. I'm not seeing the producers that I'm hooking Zeph up with in Missouri. I'm not seeing the production stuff that I set up for Charlie because he's a phenomenal producer. He's working with some of the best out right now. I'm not seeing him sit down in the studio with the artists in LA. I'm sitting in my college dorm room, eating ramen, looking at it like, I don't see any of the pluses.
Bro, looking at that laptop. The laptop, I don't know. I have that very difficult relationship with my laptop now. Because it's like, fuck. Like, the bank account is empty. Like, everything. My whole day is this laptop.
It is.
Like, my whole fucking day is this laptop and everything that comes from this. And, like, I'll close it sometimes and be like, you know, like, but you gotta keep going, bro. And, like,
and then moments like LA, moments like Atlanta, where I was able to go to Atlanta and see that. Atlanta was probably the most world-changing experience I've had for me. Just because it's the moment where I realized I skipped the middle ground in this industry. Like, I went from, like, you know, like, working with artists at $50,000 monthly and, like, not making anything to, like, oh, Kendrick's team knows who I am. Cole's team knows who I am. Sasha just booked the entire Dreamfest lineup by himself. I'm not sure if you guys realize that. Dreamfest was booked by one guy. His name is Sasha Stone. He's a guy that I have the pleasure of knowing. Incredible guy. Started doing it at 16. And he's doing it. I remember he bought me tacos. He pulled out that American Express card. And I was like, oh, he got it. But, like, it was... That trip was so full circle for me because I realized, I was like, I'm here, dog.
It's different. It's different now, bro. That was, I think, a similar thing is also like Day in Vegas, bro. Yeah. Like, we're the media passes for that, bro. When you get access and just get to move around, you know what I mean? Stretch your legs a little bit. Get to see something different, bro. Off the merit of the game. You know what I mean? The culture, all that. You know what I mean? Like, it does...
Those 3-day festivals, those business trips to Atlanta, to New York, that's what makes it bearable to stare at that laptop all day. You know what I mean? As long as you get those wins, like in real life wins where you can see all the fruits of your labor actually like pay off, just even if it's just briefly, even if it's just Flo killing it at Sunday Sounds or you getting to come out to LA, you know what I mean? Even if it's just like a little moment like that, I feel like that always re-energizes me and I can go months and months on end just staring at my computer again.
Absolutely. And this trip too, like, because this is my first time out in LA ever, because like I'm from DC. You don't have many reasons to go in LA if you're from DC. Far. You know what I mean? It's just like an 8-hour flight. It's not that far. But it's you don't have many reasons. My mom doesn't like to fly. The farthest I've been out here before was Vegas, and my dad took me whenever I graduated high school. That was our little father-son trip that he took me out on. But like that's the first time in LA. And it was crazy because I wasn't just getting an Airbnb for me to flow. I have some staff members out
for
here.
The team.
And that was sitting back, and I was like, dude, I have a head of A&R. I have a head of events. I have Annabelle Klein that works with me. Like, she's on the staff at Views. I have I have 8 people on my staff right now, and I have met 6 of them for the first time in person this trip, and 2 of them are staying at the crib with me and Flo.
And I don't know. It makes it a lot easier to do it with people who, you know, see it. Like, I literally think, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so good, ebb and flow, having us both working together, because it's like, you know what I mean? No one can have it on every single day.
It is.
Yeah.
But, like, when you have someone to pick you up and, like, be supportive of you and, like, just, like, get it and, like, level with you on that shit, it makes it, like, light years.
Yeah, obtainable. It would be impossible without that.
No cap.
My life has been changed phenomenally since I brought in the first staff person. Her name is Megan. She's incredible. She's currently running events at Views, which is we're actually throwing a music festival in LA next year.
Yo, okay.
Pop out. We'll be there.
It's called Views Fest, the first annual. I can say there is some artists that have topped Billboard that are going to potentially headline this. It's going to be really cool.
It's gonna happen,
but she's running that with my guy Ben, who's my head of business op, and he's incredible. He works at Revels. He's one of my favorite people in the world. Annabelle's helping out with that. Nick, my head of A&R and management, because I realized that I can't manage and A&R all the artists at the same time at this level, so he's helping me out with that. And he's also Frank Sativa's manager. He's incredible. He's out here with me and just talking to them and being like, man, this is why I do it. Because me and Nick sat down this morning and talked a little bit about our life stories and why we're here, and we just were like, you're my, like this is it. Like, we're a family. Which in the group chat, we have the family atmosphere. Like, I showed you guys that fake tweet from Samad earlier. Like, they clowned me, I clowned them. Flozig's apparently a Swiftie. We were clowning him for that. There is some things out there where, like, it's a family atmosphere. We make fun of each other. They hop on tracks together. They love each other. We're a big family. But hanging out in person is just crazy.
It hits different. Different, bro. That's amazing. You guys are building something special there. I think all these communities are really we're going to come together at some point in like 5 to 10 years and just look around and be like, look what the fuck the industry let in like all them years ago, bro.
Isn't it so obvious though? Can't you so see it?
Yeah.
Like, oh, of course, like Views is huge and has like the biggest festival, going on in 10 years. Of course, the podcast is up. Of course, Annabelle is like the most followed influencer on TikTok, whatever. Of course, Barry's studio is the one that everybody's recording their chart-topping albums at.
It's a blessing, bro.
I don't know. I look at our peers, bro. I look at our peers, and I think the future is so inevitable. You know what I mean? Just from feeling their energy and like seeing what we've already done so like early in our careers.
So this podcast is for people trying to get in the industry, and like, well, that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
So for the people out there, I can 1,010% say I would not be in any of the rooms doing any of the things I'm doing if it weren't for the community around me. You are only as good as your community. I cannot stress that enough. I don't care if it's over Instagram that you have the community with. I don't care if it's an Instagram group chat. I don't care if it's the homies that you smoke with in your garage. I do not care. You are only as good as the people around you. So if there is for a second a homie that's like, bro, why are you doing this? Like, just come hang out with us for the weekend. Just look at him and be like, nah. Like this is what I'm doing this. I need people around me that are hungry like me.
People who are going to uplift it, feed into it. You need people who are going to make you better, bro. Not people who are going to keep you stagnant.
I connected with Annabelle over Instagram, and it is one of the best things I've ever done because I've looked at someone and I said, okay, there's somebody out there that has the hungriness that I do. And I didn't see that because she's the first person I tapped in with in the industry. And this was back in September, right? And then since September, the people that I'm talking to, I had an A&R at Atlantic last night that, like, he's a friend of mine we went and got dinner with, and he's, like, 38, like, 37. He has a kid that's going to go to college. We're joking about resumes. He looked at me and he's like, dog, I'm not even joking when I say this. Your resume's better than mine.
It's crazy.
I didn't want to look at him and be like, yeah, but
they realize it.
And the growth is only because of the community. I can't say that enough. The growth is only because of the community.
And it's not going to stop, bro. It's not going to stop. We just got to keep feeding into it. Got to keep meeting each other, supporting each other, making sure we link up, bro. I think that, the main thing that we can also do is, share some songs.
Always.
That's typically how we wrap this shit up, bro. We need one song that you've been slapping recently that's just been in rotation that you want to give to the people. Big artists, small artists, past, present, whatever. What's something you want to give to the people? Spencer, I know you got heat.
I'm trying to think. My laptop's not on Wi-Fi, so I can't
crazy.
bail out to my Spotify. Yeah.
I already got it. I think I already got it.
Okay.
What do you want?
So there's this group that has 1 million monthly listeners right now that could be literally the Maroon 5 if they wanted to. They're called Hiatus Kayati.
Fire. I'm familiar.
Yo, I played the album yesterday, top to bottom, the fucking Choose Your Weapon shit, bro. First time listening to it.
I told you about that.
Yeah. I listened to the whole album, bro, literally after we linked
Neo
up.
Soul Jazz Fusion is crazy. And they nail it.
Yeah.
Red Room by them is my favorite song. If you are not, when I say that they're an industry artist, I mean everybody that I've talked to in the industry, they know them. Because the sound is just unreplaceable. Like I told Tunji yesterday, like me and him were hanging out yesterday, and I told him, I was like, have you ever heard of Hiatus Kayati? And he's the one that looked at me and was like, no, they could be Maroon 5 if they wanted to. Like they're that good. Like they're that good. Everybody that has some salt in the industry has heard of Hiatus Kayati, but the public hasn't. So this is going to be my first time saying, go listen to Hiatus Kayati. They are crazy.
Tap in. What you got, Spencer? Or are you still thinking?
I'm still thinking about it. I'm still thinking.
Okay, the one that you know it's difficult for me to choose one. Okay, Cuff It, Wedded Remix by Beyonce. That's just been in my head all the time. I fucking love like just Beyonce sounding like an amazing person on that. Lean Beef Patty, first song on the JPEG Mafia Danny Brown
Fire.
shit.
Dude,
Fire.
that was such a good album.
What the fuck is that sample?
Can I
bro?
just? Can I?
Yeah.
I just want to say something real quick. History repeats itself in the industry. It always has. It always will. In society, in life, in law, in history is repeating. People, it just updates every time. Something new has come out of it, but the trends have continued. If you look at the trend of music, there was a trend which was the independent artist. Then it was artists working with artists, and then it was bands, and then it was artists, and then it was artists working with artists, and then it was bands. We are in a part of the industry right now where it's moved from Post Malone so cool to, oh my goodness, Drake and 21 may dropped an album. Oh my goodness, Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak dropped an album. Oh my goodness, Danny Brown and JPEG Mafia dropped an album. And then it's going to be, oh my goodness, my favorite group dropped an album. Because artists are realizing the strength again in working with each other. And the strength of pulling the fan bases together, the strength and the art and the crazy art that happens whenever you have two aligned like people that can create that art together. And then before you know it, it's going to be 5 artists making it together.
That is a really, really fire observation that I think is going to be 100% true. I never thought about that, and I'm hyped for the age of bands again, bro. I love a band.
Do you know Flow, the girl group out the UK? It's coming back.
It's coming back.
That's the first girl group that has been able to do it outside of like I think the K-pop shit.
I'm gonna put you on some groups real quick. Free Party, DMV.
Yeah.
Love them.
Yeah.
TMT. TMT has like 20,000 monthly listeners. It's a girl group. Crazy. Sage the band.
Okay.
Crazy. I'm a big band guy, like alternative rock. So the Backseat Lovers, it was one of the first concerts I ever went to.
They're great. They're great.
You know RC Drive?
RC Drive is crazy.
How you feel? You usually follow RC Drive?
Crazy. And so we're in the age of bands again. And the age of groups. Hop on those groups. They're about to go crazy. Be early while you can.
Literally.
Yeah.
I've kind of been listening to a lot of old music. I've been feeling bluesy, you know, so I'm going to give you Until I'm Dead and Cold by B.B. King.
Good.
One of my favorite guitarists of all time.
BB
One of my
King.
favorite musicians. Rest in peace to the king.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's just as good of a love song as you will ever hear in your entire life.
Ever.
Yeah.
Grandma's Hands, Bill Withers, too. That been stuck in my head. Okay, bro. I think it's time. We got the camera right there, especially for you. Pop your shit. Where can the people find you? What do you do? All that shit.
For sure. So, yet again, my name's Owen Smith. I'm just a kid from the DMV. You can find me on Instagram at owens.view. That's actually my handle for everything. Twitter, TikTok, everything you want to hit me on. Go follow Views Management, views.mgmt. My email is owen@viewsmgmt.com. If you want to send me your art, if you want to say, hey, I'm a creative, I'm looking for a job, if I'm looking for an internship, the biggest like having enough skilled, driven people on your team is never an issue. Okay. So if you are driven and you're skilled and you want to pop your shit, send me an email. owen@viewsmgmt.com. I'm there. I'll listen. Same with DMs. Hit my DM. I'm there.
We
yes,
appreciate
sir.
You, and you know what I'm saying? Another great episode. Like, share, comment, subscribe.
Come on.
Tell a friend to tell a
Do
friend.
Do the things.
We're going to catch y'all in the next one, man.
Peace.